Hello, hello. Welcome to Verbling, www.verbling.com. Come and learn a language. Hi, I'm teacher Oakley, and once again, as I do on occasionally, from time to time, I'll be having a class about United States state. Of course, United States has 50 states. All of which are in their own way unique. Today, we're going to talk about North Carolina, NC, otherwise known as the Tar Heel State. So I can hopefully give you some information, talk to you about it. Maybe you know a little about it. Hello, Michael. Hi.
Hey, Oakley.
Michael, you always come to these classes. You need to take a United States a long trip to go to all the states that you've learned about.
I will go, don't worry, Oakley.
Okay. All right.
Maybe
Very
not
good.
long trip, but at least like in some big, some famous places or like states that I know something about them, like
Yeah.
more information, and they are famous for something. For example, like Washington State, maybe like
Mhm.
California, New York, Florida. What else? Hawaii.
You should go to the places that are not famous.
Why should I go there? Why should I go to Wyoming or to
Yeah,
these
because
states?
they're much more, I don't know. They're much more fun. That's just my opinion. I like to go to obscure places on vacation. That's just me. I'm a
Are they
weirdo.
obscure? Are they obscure?
Well,
What is
more
obscure?
obscure, less known, not well
Oh,
known. It's obscure.
okay.
Places like I don't know, Zion National Park. No one ever heard of it, but it is the
Mhm.
most amazing place I've ever been in my life. I don't know, just Bryce Park in Utah. These places are just amazing, but obscure, not well known.
Okay.
Anyway, today, North Carolina. Let me say hello to Heidi. Hello, Heidi.
Hello, nice to see you again.
Likewise, as always. Okay, today we're talking about North Carolina. Heidi, do you know anything at all about North Carolina?
North Carolina, where?
Yeah, you've heard of it. Do you know anything about it?
North Carolina, what part of America?
Okay.
Down to the New York?
South of New York.
Okay, maybe triangle, mysterious triangle.
Mysterious Triangle?
Yeah,
What are you talking about? Bermuda Triangle?
Bermuda, yeah, Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, the Bermuda Triangle.
It's very close to the Carolina.
Well, yeah, in a way it is actually part of it.
I'm
Kind
interested.
of.
I'm interested in that place.
Bermuda Triangle?
Yeah, there are a lot
Scary.
of treasures. On
Treasures.
Yes,
Oh.
I was watching TV last week. There are many treasure hunters in that place because
Uh-huh.
very big ships or airplane sank down that seabed, right?
Yeah, planes and ships and you
Lot
know,
of lot of gold medal or chain or many things.
Spanish doubloons.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go. Yeah, okay, that's a good point. And in reference to North Carolina, actually, North Carolina has a lot of seacoast, Atlantic Ocean, because it is an eastern state in the United States. It's an Atlantic, what we call Atlantic states, states that border the Atlantic Ocean, and actually has a lot of seacoast. It has an area called the Outer Banks, which are really kind of cool. Lots of islands, sandy beaches and islands, and lots of river deltas with islands. Um, Lots of places for pirates to hide their treasure. Actually,
Pirates of Caribbean.
That's right. They would sneak up to the Outer Banks and have their secret, I don't know, secret pirate lair,
Yeah,
hideout.
in some small island, there
Yeah,
is cave. Inside of cave, some treasure still
there you
sleep.
go. Yeah, and actually, that's very true. There are lots of even though it's coastline, lots of remote islands, hard to get to because of shallow waters or other reasons. But yeah, the Outer Banks are really quite huge and include lots of remote locations. So actually, your point is actually very good related to North Carolina. Michael, do you know anything about North Carolina?
Well, I know that is situated near South Carolina,
Yeah, good guess.
and it's almost countryside type of state. So there are not so there you cannot find like big buildings. They're like on the hills, like houses with people, and they're situated far away from each other. From what I know, maybe is wrong a little bit, but from what I know, and it's not the best state from the economic point of view, maybe like from how people they live, like the level of the life.
No, it's somewhere in the middle,
In the
probably.
middle. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you don't. It's kind of in the middle, I guess. I don't know. As far as rural and urban areas, you definitely have a solid point there. Um, North Carolina stretches a good distance from the Atlantic Ocean, as I said, called the Outer Banks, and it goes quite a long ways from the east to the west. And the topography, the physical, geographical features changes quite a lot from river deltas and swamps to very, very fertile, uh, as you said, very fertile agricultural lands, flat bottom lands, you could say, to then hills, and then the very westernmost part of the country includes the Appalachian Mountains, including Mount Mitchell, which is a bit over 2,000 meters high, and it is the tallest mountain, the highest elevation in the United States east of the Mississippi River. So, from some very big coastline with many islands stretching west to the highest mountain in half of the country, east of the Mississippi. So but a lot of rural areas. You're exactly correct.
Yeah.
There are a couple big cities, Charlotte, which are right next to each other, which is kind of weird, but I don't know. Charlotte and Greensboro, which they're in the middle. They're kind of in that fertile area, and there's a reason for that. And they're very big cities. Do you know why? What is Greensboro? There's a bunch of cities all together. Greensboro, Charlotte, Salem. They're all really tightly packed in that fertile area. Hint, hint. Fertile,
Well,
easy to grow plants and.
yeah, but why would a city will be there? There should be like conversely, there should be like some rural places to grow this kind of food. Why
And
cities?
there are all surrounding these cities.
Oh, okay.
There's a reason.
So because they grow their food.
Yeah, well, no.
What?
Good guess, but no. Probably none of you guys are smokers. North Carolina is like the tobacco. North Carolina and Virginia are the tobacco centers, and Greensboro, these cities that are all together in the middle of this area where they grow lots, or they used to, really, grow lots of tobacco.
So I presume there is like
huge.
headquarters of Philip Morris in North Carolina.
You got it. That's exactly right. Yeah, that's right.
I hit the nail on the head.
You did. You're exactly correct. And they have headquarters and major plants in Richmond, Virginia, and also in Greensboro and Charlotte, North Carolina. Yep, they're very big there. Let me say hello to Ken. Hi, Ken. Welcome.
Yes, hello. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. It's hot here today in the Philippines. We got the air conditioner back on again.
Yeah.
Suddenly summer's back.
Oh, it is rainy season here, so after the rainy season, summer starts.
Ah, really?
Hot summer. Yeah, because of rain, it's not so hot now. It's very comfortable. Except rain. Yeah.
In the Philippines, it's reversed. Summer season comes first, then rainy season. And we are definitely in rainy season. Last week, I didn't see the sun at all. It was cloudy and raining on and off. So very much rainy season here as well. But today, it's a bright, sunny day. First time in maybe 10 days. Hot. But nice to see the sun. Oh, it's still there. Oh, good.
But how many temperature usually in Philippines?
Not how many temperature, but
how much temperature?
Yeah, or what is the temperature?
What is the temperature?
How warm or how cold is the temperature? What is the temperature like?
Yeah, what is the temperature like?
Well, today it's probably 30.
30 is not bad.
No, it's not too bad.
Okay.
But it's going to get a little hotter.
I see.
Still a bit early. But in the summer season, like the last 2 months, it's been like 36. 34, 36 every day. But in the rainy season, it's more like 28 to 30 all the time.
Maybe rain rain get rid of some heat from the air.
Yeah. It will probably rain this afternoon. Probably have a storm. Okay, but anyway, chatting about the weather. Where our topic is North Carolina.
Okay.
Ken, do you know anything about North Carolina?
I think American South starts from North Carolina. North, South Carolina. Why I don't know, but why Carolina separate to North and South? Same Carolina, probably.
Actually, I don't know either. Both of them were originally part of Virginia. Virginia, West Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina were all originally the Virginia colony.
I see. So, the tobacco, maybe the plantation of tobacco or kind of slavery labor were vital there in the past.
Yeah. Well, as Michael just posted, their North Carolina facility was they're obviously tobacco is shrinking, or at least I hope so.
But that's good. They don't smell this kind of this tobacco. People from there.
Yeah.
Why would they need this kind of jobs?
I don't know. Definitely North Carolina's moved away. They were primarily an agricultural state for many, many, many years. I mean, going back 100 years, tobacco and other agriculture was very big there. Not so much now. They're moving into what they call STEM businesses. STEM. Do you know what that means? STEM.
Probably the root or kind of main business, main industry.
Yeah, well, this is basically an acronym. It's kind of a new acronym, I think. I've only started to hear it in recent years. To represent an area of business, let's see if I can get this right, if I even remember. Science, technology, energy, and I always forget M. Is it for manufacturing or mathematics? I can never remember. But basically, that's the idea.
Mathematics, engineering, third
Is it?
letter. Third letter is
Oh,
engineering.
engineering. Oh, see.
Science, technology,
Okay,
engineering, and
I always
and
get it
more
wrong. Yeah. It's a new acronym. I'll get it one of these days. Yeah. But supposedly, I say, hopefully for the people of North Carolina, they're moving away from agriculture and more to, yeah, these areas. Ken, do you know anything else about North Carolina?
North
Other than
Carolina.
it's confusing why they broke into North and South? I don't know why.
Charlotte is in North
Charlotte.
Carolina?
It is.
Okay. Probably the biggest town is Charlotte.
Probably, yeah.
Mhm.
Charlotte and Greensboro are, I guess you could say, sister cities. They're very close to each other. They kind of almost overlap.
Mhm.
Yeah. As actually many cities basically overlap in the eastern seaboard in the United States. You can't really tell where does Baltimore end and Washington D.C. start. You can't really tell. You go from one city to the other, and it just looks like one continuous city.
Mhm.
So anyway, this happens a lot in the United States. Do you have cities like that in Japan? Basically, you can't tell where one starts and the other ends.
Maybe Tokyo and Osaka metropolitan area like that.
Right.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Do you know anything else about North Carolina? I've been there twice for vacation. I had lovely vacations there myself. Once to Charlotte and Greensboro, but I was there for a specific reason. To see some rock concerts. to go to a rock festival. So anyway. And another time I went camping there for about 3 weeks. It was glorious in the western part of the state, in the mountains. Unbelievable, actually. Very nice. Ken, do you know anything else about
Probably it's in
North Carolina?
south, close to Georgia, so the climate is maybe humid, not dry.
It is humid. You're absolutely correct. The American South it's humid. It's definitely humid. Technically, they call it a humid subtropical climate. Subtropical. It's not. It's between the tropical, like Florida, and the temperate areas of up in Pennsylvania and New England is a temperate climate. So it's kind of stuck in between place. Yeah. So you're exactly right about that. It tends to be very humid. Definitely, especially down in the lowlands. Up in the mountains, it's great. It's really not that bad, but down in the lowlands, it's definitely humid all the time, really. It does snow there in the winter, especially, of course, the mountains get a lot of snow. When I vacationed there, I was doing a lot of fishing and hiking, and I stayed at kind of on the bottom of the mountains. I stayed at a lake. There are lots of lakes and streams in the western part of the country. Awesome fishing, great fishing. I had my own canoe, so I was just kind of exploring this big lake. But when I was down in the valley, it was humid and hot. And then I would go hiking in the mountains frequently, maybe overnight, but very cool in the mountains. In fact, Mount Marshall, the highest mountain, or Mount Mitchell, Marcy. For some reason, the eastern United States, all the mountain names start with M. I get them always confused. Okay, Mitchell, I guess. There was still snow, and a lot of snow. I hiked the mountain. I went to hike to the top of the mountain. I was completely unprepared because I started out, it was like, I don't know, 34 degrees in the valley, hot, humid, unbelievable. And I started my hike down pretty low, and I hiked to the top, and there was snow, like, but melting snow, so it was very easy to sink into. I was up to my chest trying to hike in the snow. It was ridiculous. And this was in May.
Oh,
So, big difference.
Quite diverse climate
Yeah.
in the same state.
Yeah, oh yeah, and in the case of hiking, in one day's hiking, I started out with shorts and a t-shirt, and by the end I had a parka, pants, boots, wearing mittens. It was crazy. And I've actually, probably that is the most drastic change in temperature I've ever experienced on a one-day hike. It was shocking, actually. Anyway. Okay. Heidi, do you know anything else about North Carolina besides pirates?
No, maybe it's countryside.
There's a lot of countryside, yeah. Even there's, I don't know, I guess, fairly big cities. I mean, Charlotte and Greensboro, I don't know. How big is Charlotte? Maybe 1 million people? I'm not sure. It doesn't seem all that. It's not huge, but
What is the capital?
The capital is Raleigh. Raleigh, North Carolina.
I've never heard such a name.
Raleigh.
Yeah. Actually, do you know who Raleigh is? Do you know who Sir Walter Raleigh is? Does anybody know?
No.
Famous character. Sir Walter Raleigh was the guy who, British, he was actually the first governor of the Virginia colony, as I was explaining to Ken. Virginia used to be what is now Virginia, West Virginia, North and South Carolina. It was, you know, huge. He is also the first guy, he was a lord or whatever, an important English nobleman, and he was granted governorship of this area by Queen Anne, I think. Not sure about that. And basically, he was the first guy who started exporting tobacco. He is the man responsible for getting England and Europe hooked on tobacco. Yay! Yippee! So there you go. He basically single-handedly introduced tobacco to Europe. Hooray! Okay.
Probably he gonna be very rich.
Oh yeah, he got rich. That is a fact. Basically, you know, like the predecessor, the grandfather of all drug dealers.
Nice.
Very nice. And so their state capital is named after this this famous drug dealer. Yay! Raleigh. Yeah, Raleigh is not exactly very big. I've never been to Raleigh. I can't tell you what it's. I have no idea what it's like. The overall population, actually, it's a fairly big state. It's actually 10th out of all 50 states. So there are a lot of people there, really. It ranks 15th in density. So actually there are a lot of people there. But Michael was kind of correct to say they're spread out as much as they can be spread out. I don't know. You were right when you said, yes, there are skyscrapers in Greensboro and in Charlotte, but most people kind of spread out. I don't know how to explain it. Okay. Actually, Heidi, going back to your pirate story, have you ever heard of Cape Hatteras, Heidi?
What?
Have you ever heard of Cape Hatteras?
No, I know only Jack Sparrow.
Jack Sparrow. I don't think is Jack Sparrow a real person? I don't think so. Okay.
No, yeah.
Okay. In any case, Cape Hatteras is a real place, and it is known as the graveyard of the Atlantic because literally over 1,000 ships have sunk there. The most famous was a ship called Queen Anne's Revenge. Queen Anne's Revenge. Do you know whose ship that was, Heidi? A little history here.
President? No.
Queen Anne's Revenge.
Oh, really?
Great name for a ship.
Mm.
Okay. This was the flagship, I guess, of the famous pirate Blackbeard. Arr.
Wow.
Blackbeard was a real guy, by the way, not just a Walt Disney character. He was a real guy. A real guy who switched sides several times between being an outlaw pirate and actually working for the monarchy of England. So there you go. There's your pirate treasure. It's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, as I said, it's very dangerous navigating there. So there's thousands and thousands of ships off the coast of North Carolina. It's interesting because what's interesting is that because, of course, the ocean moves, it moves the tidal areas, it moves the sand and the beaches. They shift and change. Not to be seen with the naked eye, but you can definitely, they do change. And very frequently you'll see an old ship will suddenly, you know, the sand will wash away and there'll be an old ship, like right on the edge of the water. I actually did see that before, but not in North Carolina, but in Virginia. I witnessed that once. I was on vacation and they're, oh, check out the old ship. It wasn't there last year. But now it's there.
Even the Philippines, the offshore, there are many ships.
True.
Spanish ships.
Spanish ships, not to mention World War II era ships. Lots of those as well.
And World War.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Many people in the Philippines like to dive shipwrecks.
Spanish ships brought a lot of that treasure from South America.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, especially off the coast of North Carolina, right? Doubloons, right? Definitely. Okay, so let's talk about the economy. All right, we did a little bit. They're moving towards STEM type businesses. Okay, fine. Moving away from tobacco. Michael, can you take a guess as to any other areas of growth or whatever?
While you were speaking, I was looking on Google what happened with the site of Philip Morris, with the place where they grew tobacco, because there is written that in 2010 they closed down, shut down, as is written. So I was wondering what happened, and I found that by this time, like it was bought by a company, and they want to open industrial park.
Oh, well,
An
there you go.
industrial park instead. But they didn't do anything. I mean, from 2010 till now, this is just plans and was sold now, I think, or so it's kind of interesting was for me. But anything else? What else could be? No, I don't know what they could be. They grow plants and vegetables, fruits, maybe some genetically modified food. Genetic modified food.
Could be.
GMO.
GMO, yeah.
Like this yellow. What is the name for this? Not vegetable fruit, corn.
Corn. Yeah, corn is a vegetable. Yes.
Yeah, they grow corns, I think, in North Carolina, a lot of corns.
No? To some degree, yeah. Not nearly as much as Iowa and Nebraska and some of the more northern plain states where they just grow a lot of corn.
Fishing industry, I think, because they are located near the ocean. So.
Yes, definitely fish. Fishing and is big. That's true. You are. They definitely have an agricultural base. I don't know really what. I don't know. Beans, tomatoes, squash, melons, soybeans. That's a big one. Oh yeah. Okay. Sudden memory of huge soybean fields around Greensboro. Instead of tobacco, they're growing soybeans now. Yeah. Okay. Ken, any other guesses what people do to make money there?
Agriculture. I don't know. I checked the Wikipedia.
Yeah.
There's James Taylor, Robert Flack, John Coltrane.
Lots of musicians.
Yeah. Kind of music scene is vital there.
That's very true. Absolutely true. And that's why I spent one of my vacations at a music festival there. It's absolutely correct.
South and blues music is vital, or bluegrass?
Yeah, well, okay, that's an excellent question. And actually, the whole reason I was kind of bringing up the economy is basically tourism, and is a huge thing in North Carolina, actually, and for very good reasons. They're very beautiful areas, but also because it's kind of North Carolina and Virginia as well, I could say as well, are very cross-cultural states. So yes, you have a strong blues influence. You have the jazz influence from the South, from Mississippi and Louisiana. The blues influence, which is more from the North, kind of, I don't know, they meet up there. It's also, North Carolina is the beginning of the Bible Belt. Do you know what the Bible Belt is?
Yes, kind of Bible Belt in America. It's a kind of nowadays politically it's a kind of a big area for support Republicans generally.
True. Yeah. Republicans. Yes, that's true. Yeah, the Bible Belt is most Episcopal. It's a mix of Protestant religions, Baptist, Episcopalian, Methodist, whatever, and they're generally areas with a very strong religious views, religion's part of their culture. You'll see many, for example, in the Bible Belt, this sort of middle of the United States stretching across east to west. You see, for example, many areas that don't allow alcohol, for example, or they have laws, what are called blue laws, about things like working on Sunday and.
In some area, still selling alcohol is illegal. So this area is called dry state, right?
Yeah, usually I don't think there are any dry states, but states are made up of groups of what are areas which are called counties. A county can have, I don't know, 6 to a dozen towns or cities, all right, in each county. So what they have in the United States are dry counties.
I see.
So, you know, it may take 2 or 3 hours to drive across the county. A couple hours probably. Just it totally depends. Their shape and size can be totally different depending on where you are. In Nevada, a county is enormous, the size of a state in the east. Much smaller in the east where everything's condensed. But in any case, counties can make rules. In the United States, the federal government makes rules, the state makes rules, counties can make rules, and then you have cities or municipal rules. Lots of rules and laws in the United States. Yeah. If you're traveling, you don't know what they are. It's one of the exciting aspects of traveling through the United States. You have no idea what the rules are. even if you're an American. It's crazy. Yeah, sometimes ridiculous. I remember being pulled over for having tinted windows. Darkened windows. Because I was driving through a county where darkened windows were illegal, but I didn't know that. What am I supposed to do? Remove my windshield and put in a different windshield just to drive across their county? Totally stupid. Anyway, sometimes ridiculous.
And I heard in such dry state, in the edge of the closest county, a lot of bars and liquid shop.
Yeah.
In the edge of the closest county.
Yeah. You don't know the rule. I remember once going to Asheboro, which is the biggest city to the far west in North Carolina, and the biggest city. Believe me, it's not a big city. Really, it's not. And I was traveling with friends, and we had been traveling since early that morning, and we arrived at 7, 8, 9, I don't know, approximately 8 in the evening. And we were spending the night with another friend, and we wanted to go have a drink, celebrate, party. It was a reunion of buddies, of pals, of friends. And so we said, where can we go? Have some dinner, have some drinks, relax, have a good time. I don't know. And there was nowhere. Like a city of I don't know, 500,000 to 1 million people. There was literally nowhere. It's dry. It's a dry county. So if you go to a restaurant, you can't have wine. There were, in the entire city, 3 places where they served alcohol. 2 of them were private clubs in which you had to know somebody who belonged to the club, and the third was a bowling alley.
What is bowling alley?
Bowling alley. You can go
bowling. Okay, I get it.
Yeah. You throw the ball at the pins. The third was the bowling alley, but they were closed on Sundays because it's Sunday, the day of our Lord, and so we were out of luck. Just impossible.
The Sunday is very quiet in Georgia too.
Oh my goodness!
Many shops closed and library closed.
8 o'clock at night on a Sunday in Asheboro, North Carolina. It is dark. The streets are dark. There are no cars on the road.
Because of the Sabbath?
I guess. There's nothing open. Nobody does anything on Sunday night.
Only the Walmart opens, but it closes 6 p.m.
Walmart, yeah.
6 p.m.
I'll tell you, it's very, very quiet. We just drove around looking for something to do, and wow, it's just 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and there's just nobody. There's no cars. There's no people. Really, almost scary, actually. It was very weird.
Yeah.
It's very weird because I'm from the Northeast where there's bars and restaurants and coffee shops and there's things going on late into the evening. So it was almost spooky. Ooh! There's no one here. Yeah. Very, very quiet. Quietest city I've ever been to. But very strange. However, if you happen to go to North Carolina, one thing you should check out, speaking of tourism, is the Blue Ridge Mountains, the Blue Ridge Parkway. The mountain system there is called the Blue Ridge Mountains. And the Blue Ridge Parkway is very, very scenic, very, very beautiful. Really beautiful in the fall when the leaves change color, and also in the spring. When I was there in May, the mountains have a kind of flower called rhododendron. They're white, pink, red, and they're everywhere. It's really amazing. The mountains just bursting with red, pink, white blossoms. Really quite pretty. You have to be very careful there in the winter because these roads are winding, mountainous roads and fairly narrow. Many places there's nowhere to pull your car over, so if you get in trouble, you're stuck. So very dangerous in the winter, actually. They do have skiing. Heidi, I think I know, but actually, in North Carolina, if you're a tourist, you're probably going to go either to the beaches and the water, or you're going to go to the mountains, where there's also lots of lakes and streams, hiking, boating, those things. Which would you prefer, Heidi?
I like the town side.
What's that?
In the big city.
The big city? Well, you're not going to find one. So.
Urban side.
Okay, urban site. Okay.
I'm looking at a shopping center or a shopping and some fashion mall.
Oh my goodness.
Sometimes I want to stay outside of a coffee shop.
Okay. Well then.
Passers by. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure if North Carolina would be a good fit for you. Not exactly known as a fashion capital. They are known for textiles, which is something else in their economy I didn't bring up. Textiles meaning cotton, and cotton and to some degree wool, as a matter of fact. So they make the material for clothes, but I don't think they're really known for fashion or shopping. Probably not. You know, on the other hand, in the urban areas, Asheville excluded, because there's really nothing to do in Asheville, trust me. But in Greensboro and in that area, Charlotte, when I was there actually is a lot to do. Because another aspect of North Carolina is that they have many universities and schools of higher learning, universities, colleges. Definitely. There are a lot in North Carolina. I'm not sure why, but there's a huge amount of schools. Because of that, I don't know about in Japan, but in the United States, where you find many universities, you find many cultural activities.
How about the accent? English accent is normal.
The accent? They well, in North Carolina, they definitely have an accent. It is a southern, a little bit of a southern accent, something like this. You're all welcome to visit North Carolina. It's a very beautiful state. Lots to do here.
Oh, cool.
Many cultural activities. Yeah, like that. Kind of. but not a really, really strong Southern accent. But because they're very close to Ken was right. They're basically kind of the northern edge of the South, what's known as the South in the United States. It's actually kind of a pleasant, kind of a nice accent, really. Anyway, lots of schools. Duke is famous. Obviously, University of North Carolina, UNC, is very big. If you guys probably don't, but they're huge in college sports, both of these universities. Yeah, they're well known for that. So anyway, in the United States, where you have universities, you have cultural activities, art galleries and plays and opera and symphony and dance, all of these types of things. So even though Greensboro and Charlotte and maybe Raleigh as well, I'm not as familiar with Raleigh, but Raleigh has a number of schools. They do have a lot of cultural activities going on in them, surprisingly. It's weird because it's a state that was largely agricultural, and you don't really think of farmers going to the opera, right? In general, but because there's so many universities, there actually is a thriving cultural community. So you might find something to do, actually, there, in reality. The other thing I have to mention, actually, is the food. One thing, if you ever get to North Carolina, you really must try barbecue there.
Beefsteak.
Well, barbecue, in particular, like barbecued pork, chicken. They do barbecue in a different way. If you think of American barbecue, you probably think of a kind of a tomatoey, spicy vinegar and tomato sauce, maybe with a little sweet. But North Carolina has a very distinct barbecue. North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, this area has a very, very distinct barbecue. Totally different. It's sweet and vinegar, but not tomato. Not a thick sauce they cook on the food. It's very, very different, but really good. Awesome. Really delicious. And very addictive, I must say. Once you have some, you're going to want more. Plus, the seafood is awesome. Seafood is very good. And many southern style foods. Question for the class. Has anyone here ever tried soul food? Or do you have any idea even what I'm talking about?
I've eaten okra, fried okra.
Okra? Fried okra?
Good. Yeah, it was quite good.
Yeah, that's now you're getting it. Black-eyed peas, ham hocks, barbecue, grits, succotash. These things are called
Seafood, no?
Soul food. Basically, it comes from...
No seafood.
Not so much, actually, because it derives from the food that the slaves ate, actually, which would be the cheaper foods, like the parts of the pig that the white people didn't want, and corn and beans and squash, things like that. So yeah, that's called soul food. It's considered an ethnic food in the United States. Lots of that stuff and southern style food. Has anyone here in the class ever tried grits?
What's that?
Grits? Well, it's kind of funny. It is a grain food. I think it's wheat. I think. Not even 100% sure what it is, but it's obviously it's a grain food. It's just boiled like porridge or oatmeal or gruel, or there's many rice dishes that are like this, but it's called grits. Do you know what the adjective gritty means? Something is gritty, like sand is gritty. Many small pieces. Sandpaper is gritty.
Yeah.
A cat's tongue is gritty. Okay. Grits are gritty. They're like
It's
tiny.
like oatmeal.
It's kind of like oatmeal, but oatmeal is completely soft, right? Grits has little kind of like sand size pieces, sand size granules, I guess you could say. It's a little bit gritty. It's not crunchy, but it's not completely soft like oatmeal. It's actually very delicious. It's good. It's
Like
good to eat.
porridge.
Like porridge, similar, yeah. But you know how oatmeal is kind of flakes and porridge is kind of lumpy round things. Grits are like sugar or salt. They're like little crystals, kind of, but the size of sand, and you cook them up. But it's tasty. Grits is the oatmeal of the South. In the United States, you don't get oatmeal. You get grits.
I think I've eaten it. And 3 styles of oatmeals are available in the cafeteria in the morning. And my classmate explained one of them is a kind of southern style of oatmeal. It could be grits.
Probably. Okay. Probably is grits. You can have them with a little butter. You can have them with hot sauce. Is good. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, the long and short of it is the food is great. If you like fishing, the fishing is great, and the seafood is very good on the coast. Crabs and well, really all kinds of seafood. Definitely.
Lobster.
What's that?
Lobster.
Lobster?
Yeah.
You're getting a little south for good lobster. Well, you know, there's Maine lobster or North Atlantic lobster, which is the good ones, and which basically they're up in Newfoundland, Canada, Newfoundland, and down in Maine is very famous. Maine is the famous lobster state in the United States, but down as far as Massachusetts.
I remember about crab. A very what's it? Crab often change their shell, right?
Yeah,
Then
they
just
molt.
change and they're very soft and like crab.
Yeah, yeah. Now you're talking. For a very brief period, I don't know, 3 to 5 weeks in, I think May or June. It's called soft shell crab season. Oh my gosh, they are so insanely delicious. You can only get them in this period, but you're exactly right. Virginia and North Carolina, well, up into Maryland, I guess, they have soft shell crab, and they are so delicious. I was a chef, and you have to have them shipped like overnight, very fast, because you have to get them when they're alive, and you cook them when they're alive. But you can eat the whole crab because they're molting, and the skin is very, very soft, so you can just eat the whole thing. After you clean them, you have to clean out their gills properly, and they're alive right before you cook them. You have to clean them out properly, or they can be poisonous or toxic. So you need to clean them well, correctly, and then you fry them up. And oh my goodness, so delicious. I am so hungry now. Yeah. I doubt you could get them anywhere else in the world because you have to actually literally catch them and serve them within 24 hours. So, but man, are they good. Yeah. So yeah, that's one of the specialties. Maybe oysters to some degree as well. Although those are more in Chesapeake Bay, but in Virginia. But yeah. In any case, the food is good, and definitely you have to try the barbecue if you ever find yourself in North Carolina, for sure. It's very different than the rest of the country, but really good. Does anybody have any questions about North Carolina before we end the class? Any last questions that I can hopefully answer? I don't know.
What's famous for North Carolina besides the plantation, tobacco plantations? Besides,
well, most famous for tobacco, but actually I had mentioned it earlier. College sports, the Duke Blue Devils they win the national championship in basketball. They've won, I don't know, dozens, and if they don't win, then the North Carolina Tar Heels often win. Huge college rivalry sports. So they're very famous for that, honestly. Actually, Heidi was kind of right. Pirates, secret pirate places. Yeah. In my view, my favorite place were the mountains. The mountains are just unbelievably beautiful. I was there hiking and camping, and it's vast. It's very big, so you don't really see other people. It's very quiet and very, very, very beautiful. And I like fishing. The fishing was awesome, really great. But that's me. That's my style. Okay. I'm gonna go eat now because I've talked myself into a major hunger. So thank you very much, and we'll see you guys again.